Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here in the What a Juice channel, and welcome back to another rebuild here on Madden 24. Today we go back to 2015. We've already taken a look at the #1 overall pick and his team, that being Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now we're going to be taking a look at the #2 overall pick from that draft, Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans. Now, obviously, we know just same thing as how Tampa and Jameis's time went. It didn't go so well for Mariota in Tennessee, and it hasn't really gone well for him in his entire career to this point. He's had some flashes, he's had some moments, but for the most part, he just hasn't been the guy. He hasn't been even that good of a guy in terms of being a talented football player in the NFL. So we're going to try to change that. We're going to build around Mariota. This Titans team in this era has some pieces to build around. All we got to do is add a few pieces either in free agency or in the draft, and we'll be Super Bowl champions before you know it. So if you go on to enjoy this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Like always, if you want to see any teams rebuilt, whether that's in 2015 or 2012 or modern day or college football or whatever it may be, or 1994, whatever it may be, leave them down below in the comments of any video, including this one. And let's rebuild the 2015 Marcus Mariota-led Tennessee Titans. This is what we're working with. This is the offense, and this right here is our guy. We're building the team, as you would expect, around Marcus Mariota. Rookie out of Oregon, the #2 overall pick, Heisman winner, the defending Heisman winner, runner-up national champions to the Ohio State University, if I do say so myself. Oh, it was a beautiful game. Loved it, every minute of it. Loved every single minute of it. Beat the Oregon Ducks, and the Buckeyes were the first ever college football national champions, college football playoff national champions. But that's not the point. I just had to throw that in there. That is not the point. The point is to rebuild Mariota's rookie year. He's 21 years old, 6'4", 222, defending Heisman winner. Obviously at Oregon, Mariota was ultra talented. I don't know what happened to him in the league. Just some players, I guess, don't work out, whether it's scheme fit or they just don't have the chops, it turns out, or coaching doesn't really translate. I don't know what. There's a multitude of different things that can affect a college player not working out or working out in the NFL in their transition. But unfortunately for Mariota, it didn't work out for him. But he's got all the tools. He's got all the tools. 88 speed, 90 excel, 91 agility. So he's a lot more of an athlete than Jameis Winston was, but Jameis Winston had a little bit better of the throwing ability. But not to discredit Marcus Mariota, he's still got potential on the accuracies. I mean, 81 deep, 79 medium, and short is still really, really good for a base starting quarterback as a rookie, being a 72 overall. He's got a little bit low awareness, but 75 is very manageable. And then the 77 throw on the run, I'd like to see a little bit better since he's got the accuracy, or he's got the agility and stuff. He's got the athleticism. So I'd like to see the throw on the run go up a little bit more, but that'll go up in time as he starts to develop into a top quarterback. He is star development. The rest of the team is a little bit in shambles, you could say, but there are some good pieces. We'll go over those guys right now, like the young rookie Dorial Green-Beckham. Obviously, we know he didn't work out in the league in real life, which goes for a lot of these players on these older teams, especially this Titans team. But at one point, Dorial Green-Beckham was thought to be the next big thing at receiver. I mean, he's got all the measurables. He's 6'5", he's a big body, he's got the speed, he's got the athleticism, he's got the route running. That's why I've moved him to the #3 spot in the receiving order, because I hope that we can turn Dorial Green-Beckham into what he was thought to be in real life. That's the goal. We've also got Kendall Wright, we've got Harry Douglas, we've got Justin Hunter. We've got a few receivers, but we obviously need to go and grab a couple more. Hopefully with Dorial Green-Beckham being at the top of that list of being #1, #2 receiver. Running back, we're certainly going to have to focus on unless Bishop Sankey is the guy. 68 overall. He's got the speed. He doesn't really have anything else, though. he could develop, I guess. It's Madden. It's always a possibility. But we'll see. He's a little bit too low of an overall, especially with only normal development. It could happen. I've started him over Dexter McCluster because I just want to see what happens. I want to see if he does develop. You never know. Now, I do like the offensive line. The pieces that I like are Chance Warmack and Taylor Lewan, both because they're decently young. I think Taylor Lewan's actually only in his second season. He is out of Meat Chicken. So Taylor Lewan, he's got all the makings of a franchise left tackle, and he's going to be our franchise left tackle for this rebuild. Then Warmack, I think, also has the chances because his name is Chance. He has the makings of a franchise right guard, and with winning games, developing him, I think he could be that. He's already an 83 overall. Well, he's playing up to a 83. He's an 82 overall. And then we've got a couple pieces that I like Andy Levitre. I think it's Ben Schwenke, right? Or no, it's Brian Schwenke. Brian, I thought it was Ben. But we've got a couple pieces in here. And then is it Bobby Bell? Byron Bell. Okay, I'm getting the names kind of wrong. That is not the same player model. I'm getting some of the first names wrong, but you get the picture. We've also got this young guy, Jermaine Potassi, who's a rookie out of Utah, who could take over at right tackle in the next couple seasons. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Then we got Delaney Walker, who's obviously a stud. We know about Delaney Walker. On the defense, I don't really know where we're going to change the team. Like, what needs the most? Definitely safeties, because I don't think Michael Huff or... Is it Denoris? Yeah, I thought it was Denoris. Denoris, seriously, I just don't know if they're going to develop being normal development. Michael Huff benefits from being star, but I don't know if these guys are going to get the job done. Obviously, we've got Avery Williamson and Brian Arakpo who are going to be the guys for us, and hopefully same thing with Wesley Woodard. We also have Derek Morgan, who I might just start at left outside linebacker for this season, because we know he was pretty solid in real life. We could get him to maybe develop. He is 26 years old, so it's going to take a little bit of time, especially with normal development, and being such a low overall. But maybe he could do it. You never know. Then we got Jarrell Casey on the defensive line. We got Jason McCourty. So we have some building blocks, but this team, and Al Woods, but this team needs a lot of work, and I think we can get it done. I really do. I think we can get it done because Brian Arakpo is only 20. Oh, I thought he's 26. He's 29 in this, so he's a little bit older, but maybe we'll be ready to win a championship by the time he's in his age 33 season, maybe? I don't know. I don't know how low of an overall he's going to be. I don't know what the regression is going to do to him. It's time to load in the 2016 NFL draft class, though. Everybody's favorite. We got Carson Wentz, Jalen Ramsey, Joey Bosa, Zeke. Zeke could certainly be a player for us, depending on how we do in this simulation. We've drafted a few of these guys before, so we know how they develop. Vernon Hargraves develops into a very solid corner. We know that, obviously, Jalen Ramsey and Joey Bosa turn out to be really, really good players. It's going to be a matter of where we fall. Obviously, in this draft, they take Derrick Henry, the Titans do in real life, and I'm not going to say that we aren't going to do that. That's also a very high possibility is that we take Derrick Henry. I guess it just depends on, like I said, where we fall. Are we going to be good this year, or are we going to be mid, or are we going to be very, very bad? There's 3 different areas you can be, so I don't know where we're going to fall in that. Receivers, it's not the greatest receiver class, but this is like a changing history type of thing, so we can turn any of these guys into a stud if we absolutely want to. I am going to put Michael Thomas, Tyler Boyd, even Braxton Miller on the board. I'm going to put Tyreek on there, but we get Tyreek Hill all the time. I don't know if I'm going to go for him in this rebuild. Every time we do a 2015 rebuild, I try to get Tyreek Hill. I think we'll go away from him this time, just because I don't want to have the same players over and over again on every rebuild, because we know that they are really, really good. I want to get new players like a Laquan Treadwell. I want to see how he develops. Maybe we draft him. I don't know. Just get new players in here so we don't get the same guys over and over again, because that's no fun, because we know those guys do good. As far as tight ends, we don't necessarily need a starter because we have Delaney Walker, but a Tyler Higbee in the 3rd round is an option, and that's probably the only one in the back half of the board. Left tackles, we don't need a left tackle, but we could turn one of these guys to a right tackle, that's for sure. And a lot of these guys end up playing right tackle. Laramie Tunsil's played right tackle in the league. Conklin plays right tackle in the league before. So we can turn, and it's Madden, it doesn't really matter. We could turn those guys into right tackles if we need to. Left guards, I'll put Cody Whitehair on here. I'll put Connor McGovern on here. Centers, we could use a center, but I don't know if we want to go for one of these guys. We know that Nick Martin is one of the highest rated players in the class from just previous rebuilds, but he doesn't have hidden development. He has normal. So that'll be something to keep in mind. I'll put Isaac Seumalo on here, but we know that he's a pretty low overall. Right guards, we'll put Joe Tooney on there. We know he has normal development, unfortunately. And then right tackles, I'll keep Taylor Decker on here. We just got to play it by ear, see where the team does in Season 1, and then we'll go from there in terms of the draft. That's pretty obvious. DeForest Buckner, Shaq Lawson, Jihad Ward, Yannick Ngakoue. We're not going to go for Judon this time because he's too low of an overall. We can't. One of these times I will go for Judon and actually like commit to starting him from his rookie year all the way and then develop him into a really, really good player like he is in real life, but not for this rebuild. I want to win soon. I'm not going to put Bosa on there. We're not going to be in play for him, but I'll put Ogba on there. I'll even put Noah Spence on there. We could be in play for any of those guys. D tackles, Kenny Clark, Ashawn Robinson, Robert Gimdiche, Jaron Reed. Who else? Javon Hargrave, we've gotten in previous ones. Matt Ioannidis, we know is star development. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Matt Ioannidis has star development, but I think he's a low overall to start out with, at least a low 70. Where's he at? There he is. Oh, that's Willie Henry. Matt Ioannidis, David Onyemata, DJ Reader, and then I saw one more guy down here. Where's he at? There he is, Michael Pierce. Left outside linebackers, Leonard Floyd, Deion Jones. We know Deion Jones develops really, really well, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. We don't get him as much as I would like, but the last time we did get him, he turned out to be a stud. So we'll have to keep him in mind for sure. Reggie Ragland, I would like to get. Josh Perry we'll keep an eye on. Blake Martinez ends up being a pretty decent player. Right outside linebacker, Jalen Smith, Miles Jack, even Darren Lee I'll put on there. But I'll do it in order. And then, who else? Anybody else down the board? Probably not. Corners, I'll put Hargraves, but he's probably going to go before our draft pick. I'll put Burnt Toast on there. Xavier Howard, X-Man, James Bradbury, Kendall Fuller. A lot of the corner classes you can find really, really good value in day 3. Later on in seasons coming up, so that is something we have to keep in mind if we want to pass on corners in this class and then wait for next season or a couple seasons later. Like Mike Hilton. Look at Mike Hilton is potentially undrafted. We know how good he can turn out to be. So that's really, really good value. Kevin Byard we'll keep an eye on because we could take Kevin Byard for realism purposes. But we'll also keep an eye on Sean Davis, Von Bell, Justin Simmons. It's probably going to be it. And then strong safeties, we got Carl Joseph, Keanu Neal, Jalen Mills, Tyvis Powell. Love Tyvis Powell. Anybody else? Probably not. Kickers. I think didn't we take Roberto Aguayo in the Bucks rebuild? I think we did. Will Lutz, Aldrich Rosas, Kaimi Fairbairn, I guess, but we're probably not going to take a kicker. I wouldn't think. So that is going to be our draft board for Season 1 for the 2016 draft. I have no idea where we're going to fall in this season. Like, I have no idea how good we're going to play. So I have no idea who we're even going to be in on. We have to just let it ride, see who we're good for. But I do want to see the region breakdown. It's wide receiver and corner. Probably at the focus or the national scouts, I'll probably set it for corner because we have more corners on our board. So that's probably what I'm going to set it to. But I'm going to simulate week 8. And then I'll catch back up with you guys when I'm there. We made it to the midseason mark, and we sit at 2-4. Pretty much where I expected us to be. But you never know. Sometimes we can surprise and play a little bit better than I once predicted or once thought we would do. We've done that before in different rebuilds. Mariota's up to a 73. Dorial Green-Beckham. I might just bite the bullet and move him over Harry Douglas just because I want to see that progression from him. So we're going to move him to number 2. He's already gone up in overall, so that's nice. Lawan is an 86 now, which is good to see. But we got a lot of bad morale because we're losing a lot of games. So we'll have to keep that in mind as we move forward. That could hurt development a little bit. Negotiations. Who's up for a new contract this year? Al Woods, Sammy Hill, Craig Stevens, Brandon Harris. Okay, so we can keep a lot of these guys not signed. Like we don't have to sign these guys. Oh, we have Zach Brown, too. I forgot about that. And we can really save a lot of this money for free agency and for future negotiations. Al Woods, I would like back because I like Al Woods. I think he's a solid player. And for right now, we don't have any better options. So if we can get him back on this deal, he's happy to sign. Perfect. Al Woods is back, but we don't need Sammy Hill. We don't need Craig Stevens. We don't need Brandon Harris, Josh Aubrey, Kalen Burnett. Nope. Hakeem Nicks, no. Mike Martin, no. Kendall Wright, $53 million. 25 years old, 80 overall. It's not a bad thing to bring him back. It's just a matter of, are we going to have to overpay him for probably not that great of production? He is going to come back 9-9 over 4 seasons. I'm fine with that. We got the money, so I'm fine with that. Charlie Whitehurst, sorry, buddy, but you're going to have to take your walking papers. Cody Sensabaugh is an interesting one. 69 overall, nice. At 26 years old, we'll sign him till he's 30, or till he's 29, and he's going to come back. All right. Byron Bell, I will sign as possibly a backup because I think that young right tackle Potasi, if I'm saying that right, I hope I am. I think he can take over next season, but we'll sign Byron Bell as a backup, and he's going to come back. So we have $102 million to bring back Zach Brown, because I do want to bring back Zach Brown. I forgot he was even here. I do think he's a valuable piece to this team. And with this deal, we should have a little under $100 million to play with in free agency, and he's coming back too. So $93 million to play with in free agency is perfect. We're not going to bring back anybody else here. Everybody else can walk. And that's a lot of money to work with either in free agency or save it for next season when maybe more important players come up for negotiations. I don't know. Scouting national focus, like I told you before we cut, I'm going to set it for corner because we have more corners on our board than we do wide receivers. So we'll go with that. And then we will simulate to week 11 when we can use our private workouts. That is going to be a big thing. And we actually beat the Texans, who are 1-7 on the year. So it looks like they're going to have a top pick in this year's draft. But then we go and lose to the Saints, which is a little bit upsetting. Honestly, I'd rather lose a bunch of games. So I wish that we would lose a bunch of games, and we are. We lose to the Panthers as well. So we can't beat the NFC South for some reason. We're taking on the Jaguars in week 11. They're 5-4. But now it's time for the good old-fashioned focus players. So who are we going to use this on? I'm going to use it on Zeke because I'm banking on the fact that we're going to have a top pick in order to get Zeke. So I'm going to use it on Zeke. I know it's the Titans rebuild, and the Titans draft Derrick Henry, but this is my rebuild. We've drafted Derrick Henry before. We've never drafted Zeke. So I think I'm gonna get Zeke, or at least I'm gonna have the opportunity to get Zeke. And just because I'm not using my focus player on Derrick Henry doesn't mean I'm not gonna draft Derrick Henry. Because if we're not in play for Zeke, then I'll obviously try to get Derrick Henry. But we've drafted Derrick Henry before. We know how good he is, so we don't need to waste a player on him, a focus player on him. I would like, you know what? I'm going to use one on Braxton Miller because if you guys don't know, obviously I've told you this before, even in this video, I'm an Ohio State fan. And when I was like really getting into football, into at least college football, I was into the NFL. But when I was really getting into college football, Braxton Miller was the quarterback at Ohio State. Freshman quarterback. He was so electric. There's a play that goes around in highlight reels. I think it was against Virginia Tech. He just takes the ball, he runs outside, rolls to his left, and he just breaks free, and then he does like this crazy spin move and takes it, I think, for a touchdown. If not, he gets really, really close. It's unbelievable athleticism from Braxton Miller. He was my favorite quarterback, and maybe still is my favorite quarterback in Ohio State history, other than probably Terrell Pryor. I love Terrell Pryor. But Braxton Miller was unbelievable to watch. And then he obviously had the shoulder injury, and it changed. He couldn't recover from it enough to be a quarterback again, so he turned into a wide receiver, and he never really did anything. After he was a fine receiver for that, I think 1 year at Ohio State he was a receiver, and then he went to the NFL. He didn't really do much, unfortunately. It's a sad thing for his career, his professional career, because I feel like at Ohio State, or in the NFL as a quarterback, the NFL was finally changing into the mode where they got the more mobile quarterbacks, and they were leaning into that a little bit more in terms of like the offensive systems. So I feel like Braxton Miller could have been on that bleeding edge of like the first era of quarterbacks to like absolutely dominate the mobile game, like Lamar Jackson or a who else is a mobile quarterback? Even Josh Allen to an extent is a mobile quarterback, but I'm blanking on a bunch of other mobile quarterbacks in the league nowadays. Mostly everybody is mobile. But there might be a video, now that I'm thinking about it, there might be a video where I draft Braxton Miller, convert him to quarterback, and then build the team around him as a quarterback, because that could be pretty... You know what? I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind. I'm going to keep that look out in the future for a Braxton Miller quarterback rebuild. I don't know what team I'll put him on, but that could certainly be a video down the line. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to use one on him, though, because I want to find out how good he is as a receiver. And then the final player that we're going to use the focus points on at week 11 is probably going to be... maybe Jihad Ward? It's probably going to be Jihad Ward or Leonard Floyd. Maybe Reggie Ragland. Guys that we'd probably be in play for in the late first round, early second round. I think I'm going to do Leonard Floyd. We're going to find out how good he is. So Braxton, Zeke, and Leonard Floyd. Funny enough, I didn't even try to do that. 2 Buckeyes on that one with Zeke and Braxton. But that is going to be our Week 11 stuff. I know they had the prospect spotlight, but I don't ever look at that. I just don't trust it. And then we are going to simulate the end of the season. So I will come back to you guys when we have finished the season. Hopefully, we continue on this pathway and we have a top 5 pick. We finished season 1. Marcus Mariota's rookie year is complete. We obviously didn't make the playoffs. We did continue to lose a bunch of games, finishing 4-12, tied for the worst record in the division with the Houston Texans. No surprise there. How bad were we? So the Browns will most likely have the number 1 pick, then the 49ers, then the Dolphins, Eagles. Okay, so we're not going to have as high of a pick as I thought we were. A lot of teams actually suck this year. But we're going to have a top 10 pick. It looks like probably a top 7 pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so at least a top 7 pick in the draft. That's good enough to be able to trade up into the top 5 or top 3 to be able to get Zeke or whoever we want. So that's nice. I wish it would have been... I wish more teams would have won a few more games so that we had a top 4 pick or a top 3 pick or the number 1 overall pick. But there's a lot of bad teams in this era, so it's understandable. I just hope that Marcus Mariota bounces back after this Packers-Bills in the Super Bowl this year. I just hope that Marcus Mariota bounces back. So any development upgrades? It doesn't look like it on the offense. Everybody's the same, even Mariota, but that's not a surprise. And then on defense, we've got Avery Williamson star, right? Was he star before? I don't remember. He might have been star already. Other than that, I don't think anybody got any development upgrades, which is a little bit upsetting, but hey, we had a bad season. You're not going to really get a lot of play time with that. And we're actually going to start Potasi for next season, so might as well. Might as well. So then we just need to work on center and left guard and get upgrades there, and then the offensive line should be pretty much complete. But Marcus Mariota in his first season is a 74 overall now, but obviously he's got all those bad morale stuff, so it's lowering all his attributes. But that's okay. Not a big deal. We can simulate the Super Bowl, find out who's going to win. I would assume the Packers, because they usually dominate in these rebuilds. And they do, 38-10. They win the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl of the video, over the Bills. And the Bills still can't win a championship. Feels bad, man. So Eddie Lacy, of all people, okay, is the Super Bowl MVP. Ben Roethlisberger is MVP of the league. Belichick is Coach of the Year. Roethlisberger and Khalil Mack are the Players of the Year. And Jameis Winston is the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Henry Anderson for the Colts is the Defensive Rookie of the Year. So we got beat out by the number 1 overall pick for Rookie of the Year, but that's okay. I don't really think that Mariota had a good year. And he didn't... he didn't have a bad year, but he also didn't have a great year. 3,300 yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 picks, 59% completion percentage. That's not a great year, but it's also not as bad as you could have had, obviously. I didn't mean to back out there. It's not that bad of a year. Nobody over even 800 yards, barely over 700 yards for Bishop Sankey. And 7 touchdowns for him. Receiving, almost 1,000 yards for Dorial Green-Beckham. That's pretty big because that'll help his development for future seasons. Kendall Wright also had 900 yards. Both had 6 touchdowns. Harry Douglas had 500 yards. Delaney Walker, 500 yards. All right, but Mariota just wasn't throwing the ball very much. And maybe that's on the playbook. I don't know. 101 tackles for Wesley Woodard. Love to see that. That's really, really good. Zach Brown, 88s. Zach Brown might start at middle linebacker next season alongside Wesley Woodard. Who's starting ahead of him, by the way? Oh, it's Avery Williamson. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out what to do with all these linebackers because we have 3 really good middle linebackers, and I want all of them to start. I don't know where to go. Jason McCourty, 80 tackles, 71 for Parrish Cox. Okay. 65 for Jarrell Casey. Al Woods leads the team with 19 tackles for loss. Casey had 16. Woodard had 13. I don't want to say it. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I don't want to butcher it. He had 12. Arakpo had 11 tackles for loss. Sack leader was 7.5 for Arakpo. Casey 5.5, 3 for Woodard, and then a couple other guys had a few. So then Thomas had 3 picks, led the team with Jason McCourty. Woodard and Brown both had 2, and then Denoris Searcy had 1. So those are your stats for year number 1. Pretty okay season considering we only won 4 games. And now, before I forget, I am going to spend some talent stuff and make sure that it's easier for us to trade up in the draft and trade up for draft picks, just in case we want to make a move for Zeke. So I will make sure that all of this good stuff is as high as it can be. There we go. So it's not fully upgraded, but it is upgraded enough to make a difference. And we will go to the re-sign period, even though we don't need to re-sign anybody else because we did all that at week 8. So we're all good there. The most crucial thing is going to be that mock draft number 5. We're going to find out not only where we draft officially, but also where they're going to have Zeke go, depending on how high we're going to need to trade up. Maybe we don't even need to trade up. Maybe he's falling. We're not going to bring any of these guys back like we mentioned. So we will simulate to free agency number 1. I hope that there's some people in this free agent class, but from previous rebuilds, there's never really anybody here. So Donald Penn, Sean Andrews, Derek Johnson. We're already pretty full on middle linebackers. Quarterback, we don't need. Running back, DeMarco Murray. He does end up in Tennessee for a time. Is that after he leaves Philadelphia? It might be. I wouldn't necessarily hate signing DeMarco Murray, but that kind of negates the whole trading up for Zeke thing. So I don't think we'll do that. Maybe in a future rebuild we'll sign DeMarco Murray. Also, former Tennessee Titan Chris Johnson, CJ2K, is here. But we're going to stick with the Zeke plan for right now. Ruben Randall, Marvin Jones, Victor Cruz. Oh, it's not a great list of receivers, is it? I think we're just going to pass on that. Tight ends, we're going to stick with Delaney Walker. Left tackle, don't need. Left guard. Lyle Collins at left guard is a very interesting offer. Plus, he's 26, or he's 23. I don't know how he's here. Maybe because his contract got messed up in the rebuild or in the mod. I don't know, but he's here, and I'm going to take advantage of it. So we're going to offer him a deal, and he can be our starting left guard. We don't have to worry about that at all. And I hope that's just a visual glitch, and that we are leading it. I don't know. Center, we do need to look for a new center, although Schwenke's not bad. He's just normal development. Right guard, we don't need because we have Chance Warmack. Right tackle, we don't need because we have Patasi. Left ends, I don't want anybody here. Right, D tackles, not right ends. I don't want anybody, there's right ends, and I don't want anybody here either. Left outside linebackers, nope. Middle linebackers, we have enough of them. Right outside linebackers, Melvin Ingram. Ooh, Melvin Ingram. And Vincent Ray. Anybody remember Vincent Ray? He was on that Bengals linebacking core with Vontaze Burfict for a little bit. Oh, Melvin Ingram is very interesting. Only 27. I say only 27. That's a little bit on the older side for Madden. But we got the money, and I think that having a star development right outside linebacker could really, really help. I don't know if we're going to get him. I could raise the money up a little bit more. Just to make sure that, I mean, just because we're second on the list doesn't mean we're not going to get him. I've had that happen where we don't get picked because he picks the team below us. The player picks the team below us, but I just want to, for sanity's sake, I want to make sure that we're at the top. So 9-9, that puts us actually third now. I'm going to keep it there. That's a lot of money for a 27-year-old. If we get him, awesome. If we don't, I guess we'll have to live with it. Tremaine Johnson's a new one. We don't usually see him in these rebuilds. There's also some young guys. It certainly must seem that some players, unfortunately, got their contracts messed up with the mod, because a 24-year-old Shaquille Richardson should not be in free agency yet. But we could certainly take a stab at him. Same thing with Tremaine Johnson. I think this could be a nice value pick. He's 26. We offer him a solid contract, and he can play pretty much second corner to Jason McCourty. So I like that a lot. Eric Weddle is a little bit older, but that's an interesting one. That is a very, very interesting one. Okay, so our available targets, or our targeted players, are Melvin Ingram, Tremaine Johnson, Lyle Collins. I really hope that's just a visual glitch. I think this is going to be our only guys that we offer for. Yeah, I think this is going to be all the guys that we offer for. We're going to hit that, and we didn't get Melvin Ingram. We got Tremaine Johnson and Lyle Collins, which is cool, but Melvin Ingram signed with another team. He signed with the Atlanta Falcons. So that's unfortunate. That could have been a real big help on the defensive, or on the linebacking core, but adding Lyle Collins really solidifies our offensive line now. We don't need to worry about left guard anymore. So the offensive line's pretty much fixed, except for I would like to get a center that actually has development trait. Sankey will start at running back for the time being until we eventually draft Zeke. And then it looks like Zach Brown has taken over the Wesley Woodyard spot. So, okay, fine with that. And they have Mount starting over Derek Morgan. I don't want that. Okay, and then Tremaine Johnson falls into number 2 corner. All right, so we still got a lot of work to do, obviously, but that's a good start. That is a good start. We will go to the draft now and get ready to figure out who we're trading up for, how far we have to trade up, and where we're just picking it officially. I'm guessing it's going to be around pick 7, but that's just my guess from where we finished in the standings. Things could change. We could have a tiebreaker over somebody else and pick a little bit higher than somebody. That's always a possibility. But we will find out. Mock draft number 5 is released. This is big, ladies and gentlemen. This is big. Mock draft number 5. DeForest Buckner going number 1 overall to the Browns. Joey Bosa, number 2 to the 49ers. Jalen Ramsey, 3 to the Dolphins. Jared Goff, 4 to the Eagles. Carson Wentz, 5 to Washington. And look at this. Zeke is going 7 to the Tennessee Titans. We don't even have to trade up. He'll just fall right to us. That is awesome. I love that a lot. I really, really love that a lot. And you know what? I wonder if I could trade into the first round to get Jalen Smith. I wonder if that's a possibility. That worked out really well, that we don't even have to trade up to get Zeke. Is there a way that I could trade into the first round again and get... See, look at Braxton's around 1 to 2 talent. Look at that. That's a stud right there. I wonder if there's a way I could get my main man, Jalen Smith. It's probably going to be a little bit tricky, but it's possible. It is possible. Anybody else? We've got 2 left. I'll use one on... Probably need to grab a corner, don't we? Probably need to grab a corner, but we know 95% on a lot of these guys. I'll use it on Kevin Byard, because I would like to grab Kevin Byard. And then, who's the final guy going to be used? Maybe Javon Hargrave. Let's do that. So Yannick Ngakoue, Kevin Byard, Javon Hargrave are going to be my final private workouts. And we need to see just how valuable the Saints think that 25th overall pick is. How valuable are the Saints saying that pick is? So Saints have the 25th overall pick. They want Taylor Lewan or a bunch of draft picks. Well, unfortunately for you guys, I'm not going to do that. But I'll give you Brett Kern. Think about that. Think about if I traded a punter for the 25th overall pick. That would be absolutely insane. I could give them Kendall Wright. Possibly. I would consider Kendall Wright. Who else would I consider? 2017, 2018. I don't really want to give up a first-round pick in 2018. But hopefully by then we're good enough where we're making the playoffs. I would hope. I don't know. Oh, maybe we just can't get him. Maybe we just have to... Maybe we just have to not get the dude. What about Harry Douglas? Okay, that doesn't really help. But if I throw in like a... If I could actually go to it. If I could throw in like a third-round pick in 2018? No. What about a second-round pick in 2018? How can I make this work where I'm getting value and I'm not giving up too much? What do I do? I could trade Byron Bell. We wouldn't need him if we're going to start Potasi, and they don't like that at all. Okay. I thought that they'd at least like that a little bit. What about if we throw the second-round pick in there? It might not be possible. Unless we do the Kendall Wright deal. See, this is already in the orange. And then what about if I throw in that second-round pick in 2018? See, that's already... See, this could be possible. It's just do we want to go all in on Dorial Green-Beckham is the question. I think this would be right because we're planning on drafting Braxton Miller, so that would be a replacement. I don't know how high of an overall he is. I've never drafted him before, but we're planning on doing that. So if I go for like a fourth-round pick in 2017, that is declined, but a third-round pick in 2017 should do the job. Trade offer accepted. So Byron Bell, Kendall Wright, a second in 2018, and a third in 2017 gets us the 25th overall pick, which is the spot projected to take Jalen Smith. So with that would be our right outside linebacker spot figured out. So we'd have our running back, our quarterback, and our right outside linebacker figured out in this first draft, guaranteed. So if we go to this final mock draft, so they have pick 7 taking Zeke, perfect, and then number 25 was the Saints taking Jalen Smith. That's awesome. I guess we could pivot and go Miles Jack too. It's possible, but I think I want Jalen Smith. But we'll see when we actually get in there. I don't know. Let's do it. Let's start drafting. Pause the draft. Browns have the number 1 overall pick. They take DeForest Buckner with the number 1 overall pick. Bosa goes 2 to the 49ers. Jalen Ramsey 3 to the Dolphins. Jared Goff is a Philadelphia Eagle. Washington gets Carson Wentz. And then Sheldon Rankins heads to Houston. So now it's our time to take my main man, Ezekiel Elliott, out of the Ohio State University. Solid player in college. Unbelievable player in college, really. And a solid NFL running back. And he is now a Tennessee Titan. He looks a little weird in that Titans uniform, but hey, he's a Titan. And 92 speed, 90 acceleration. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's go to pick number 25. Now, Ronnie Stanley heads to Chicago. Leonard Floyd is a Charger. Corey Coleman's headed to Dallas. Denver gets Josh Doxson. Will Fuller is a St. Louis Ram. Eli Apple's a Baltimore Raven. William Jackson's Jacksonville. That's funny. Artie Burns is Minnesota Viking. Shaq Lawson to New York, to the Jets. Panthers get Kenny Clark. Darren Lee is Arizona Cardinals. Bengals take Paxton Lynch in the first round. Yikes. Ryan Kelly is in Seattle. Carl Joseph goes to Tampa Bay. Laquan Treadwell heads to to New England. And now we're back up here. So we could take Jalen Smith or Miles Jack, or we could grab Taylor Decker or Laramie Tunsil. I don't think we're going to do either one of those, even though they're probably both pretty solid options. Which one do I want? Jalen Smith has all the physicals you would want. He's got A man coverage, A hit power, A zone, probably A or B block shed, and probably A or B tackling and pursuit. So he looks like a solid player. But then you got Miles Jack, who is not as good of an athlete, but he has the A finesse moves that Jalen Smith doesn't have. Both will most likely start right away, year one for them, over Derek Morgan and whoever else we have at right outside linebacker. It's just a matter of who we want better. I think I'm going to go with the athlete. Jalen Smith is just simply a better athlete than Miles Jack is, so we're going to take him. Hidden development, 85 speed, 88 excel, 87 agility, and change of direction. That's a big pickup for the outside linebacking core. Him and Brian Arakpo with the two middle linebackers, I like that a lot. Now we don't pick again. Miles Jack goes the next pick to the Colts. Xavier Howard to the Giants. Derrick Henry's in Pittsburgh now. We don't pick again. They'll pick 7 of the second round. So hopefully there are some good players available. Michael Thomas is in Cleveland. Keep him in Ohio. Jermaine Ifedi, Laramie Tunsil. There goes Deion Jones. If Deion Jones would have fell to us, I probably would have grabbed him, to be honest. But he goes a couple picks ahead of us. All right. Now we are back. We could take Reggie Ragland, I guess. Vernon Butler is an option. Let's go to our board here. So what do we have available? We've got a few offensive linemen. We got Jihad Ward still on the board. Yannick Ngakoue is still there, which might be my pick. I might go Yannick Ngakoue. Probably him or maybe Kendall Fuller. Or maybe, no, this might be the Kevin Byard pick because I don't think Kevin Byard makes it past the second round. He might, but I don't think he does. And we need a safety. I think this is going to be Kevin Byard. We need a safety. 90 speed, 88 excel, 88 jumping. All right, I feel like we've killed it through these first 3 picks. We have absolutely killed it. But I do want to see, there goes Reggie Ragland to Chicago. I do want to see, I wonder if he makes it to the 3rd round. Yannick Ngakoue I'm talking about. Kicked in the sacky Christian Hackey. He's in Green Bay now. Okay, backing up Aaron Rodgers. Tyler Boyd's in Cincinnati. Look at that. There goes Jihad Ward. I thought about it, but we need a safety. We really need a safety. And we are getting close to the 3rd round here. Ah, he went to Pittsburgh. Okay. I thought for a second he'd fall to us, but he's a little too good to fall to the 3rd round. So that's upsetting. Jacoby Brisket is in San Francisco now. And we've made it to our pick here in the 3rd round. Okay. So what is going to be the move now? Kendall Fuller, I would not hate. But then there's Braxton. Does Braxton make it to the 4th round? I don't think he does. I don't think Braxton makes it to the 4th round. I've never seen him. At least I don't remember seeing him in the 4th round in previous rebuilds. Maybe I'm forgetting and he actually would make it to the 4th round. But Kendall Fuller being here, that could be a really good corner pickup. I got to do it. Kendall Fuller, I couldn't pass up on a huge corner like that, pairing him alongside Jermaine Johnson and Jason McCourty. That's too big of a pickup to miss. And now we just have to hope that Braxton doesn't get taken, or we could trade into the 3rd round, the late 3rd round. I don't honestly know if he makes it or not. I guess this will be a good experiment to see if he does. I never really keep an eye on him that closely to see in these previous rebuilds to see if he's made it to the 4th round before. And just because he's made it in one rebuild doesn't mean he's going to make it every rebuild. Saints take him in the 3rd round. So if we want him, we'll have to trade with the Saints. Tyreek is still here. I mean, that's the obvious choice. And I know I just said earlier that I didn't want to take Tyreek Hill because we get him all the time. But that was before I traded Kendall Wright. And we missed out on Braxton. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. We gotta take him. If anything, we'll trade him to get Braxton. But, I mean, we gotta take Tyreek. I need another receiver. I need another receiver. So we gotta grab Tyreek. And now we will simulate to our 5th round pick. We've actually killed this draft. This first draft has been huge for us. We've done really, really well. Matt Ioannidis is here. That probably is going to be my guy. Matt Ioannidis is going to be my guy. We need another D tackle to go alongside Al Woods. So big pickup there. We know we star development. That's a solid one in the 5th round. And then we go 6th round. Who's going to be on the board for us? Let's see. We got Onyemata, Reader. Okay, so still some very solid players. Who do we go with here? Do we go back-to-back D tackles like Onyemata or Reader? Or do we go another corner? Or do we go strong safety? Because we already got free safety in Kevin Byard. But there might be other free safeties that are better than Jalen Mills in future drafts. But I think I'm going to take Jalen Mills here. Hidden development, 90 speed, 90 acceleration. I mean, he's a good player. Obviously, we know what he turns into in real life. And we'll see what's left for us in the final round. What is left on the table with the scraps. With a box of scraps. All right, so no DJ Reader. That's probably who I would have taken. I bet, I may have made a mistake there. I bet, what's-his-face, Jalen Mills would have been there. But I guess we'll grab Jonathan Jones, another corner to add to the list. 95 speed, 95 excel. Solid corner. Solid corner. I feel like we absolutely killed this draft. We absolutely killed this draft. Got a bunch of talent that will pretty much, I think everybody will start right away. I don't know that for sure. I know Zeke will. I know Jalen Smith will for sure. And we're probably going to trade Tyreek. That's crazy. That's a crazy sentence to say trade Tyreek for Braxton Miller, but it's, I mean, we've had Tyreek Hill before. We know how good he is. Kendall Fuller's a 73. He's not going to start right away, but he'll get some good play time. Kevin Byard's a 70. I might make him start right away. Ioannidis is a 70. Jalen Mills is only a 62. But he's got hidden development. And then the NFL, best player in the class was Ramsey. No surprise there. Nick Martin, Jalen Smith. We got the 3rd best player in the class. I will take that. Let me go to the Saints real quick. Braxton's a 74. So honestly, yeah, he's a lot slower than Tyreek Hill, but he's right there with him. Does he have a development trait? He doesn't. Only normal development for Braxton Miller. Oh, God. Am I really going to trade Tyreek Hill for Braxton Miller? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. Maybe I can make it work. Maybe I can trade for Braxton without giving up Tyreek. I guess we'll wait and see. I'll do it like right now before we cut to the end of the season. But let's add everybody in. So Zeke will start. Tyreek is the highest rated player already. Green Beckham is going to be the number 2 receiver. Then we got Zeke starting. We got the offensive line looking really good. Delaney Walker. Then on defense, Jalen Smith will start at right outside linebacker. Arakpo moves to left. Middle linebacker is fine. I'm going to start Kevin Byard over Michael Huff. Searcy is right there. Corners, we're going to have Kendall Fuller be the number 3 corner. And Matt Ioannidis will not start over Al Woods, but he's getting close. He's getting close. All right, the defense looks a lot better now. Offense in general, the team in general looks a lot better now. All right, let's see if we can make a deal for Braxton Miller. It shouldn't be that difficult. I bet I could trade Harry Douglas for him. They're the same overall. I know that Braxton's a younger player, but he doesn't have a development trait, which could hurt his value. All right, Braxton, come here. He's a young player. They don't like they like Harry Douglas. Let's do the deal straight up. Okay, so they don't do the deal straight up. Unfortunate. Maybe they want Justin Hunter because he's younger. No, okay, they don't want Justin Hunter because he's younger. That's for sure. How are we gonna make this work where I don't have to give up a crazy amount? They would take this deal straight up for Tyreek Hill for sure. Ooh. What about I just do that? Okay, no, okay. They want, it's going to have to be Douglas too, which is not a bad thing. But this is, I like this. Okay, so if we trade him, oh, because they need a right outside linebacker. I didn't even realize that. Let's see. We have a lot of middle linebackers. We don't need Derek Morgan anymore because we have DeAndre Mount, who's 23. I didn't realize he was so young. So I could give them Derek Morgan, and that's accepted. So we didn't have to give up any draft picks, and we bring in Braxton Miller. So we're able to get best of both awards. We get Tyreek, and we get Braxton Miller out of it. So I will say that's a W, and Braxton can be... Actually, he's going to be the number 2. You know what? Give Braxton the number 2. I'm fine with that. Dorial Green-Beckham can be number 3, and that's what our offense is going to look like here. I don't know if we're going to be much improved than 4 wins, but I guess we'll find out. I will see you guys at the end of season number 2. Season 2 is wrapped up, and we actually made the playoffs, only because we won the division. But hey, we won the division, which means we get a home playoff game against Buffalo. But that's significant improvement. We won 4 games in year 1. Much, much improved from year number 1. That just shows you the development of our guy right here, Marcus Mariota. He's got QB of the future written all over him. A little bit of a better year in terms of his yards, a much better year with his touchdown-interception ratio, and a better year in terms of completion percentage. So he, all in all, had a better year than he did in year number 1, which is really good because he's got a lot better weapons now. But that's a really, really good year for Mariota. Zeke had 1,100 yards and 13 touchdowns as a rookie. I don't know if that's going to be enough for Rookie of the Year, but maybe. He's certainly in the battle for it. And Braxton Miller had 936 yards and 5 touchdowns as a rookie. Tyreek Hill had 748 and 7. Star development? I don't know. Maybe this is the Braxton Miller career mode now. Dorial Green-Beckham had 11 touchdowns, which is awesome. Delaney Walker played pretty well, too. And then defensively, Zach Brown with 112 tackles. Jalen Smith had 100. Arakpo had 87. Johnson had 84. Casey 76. Tackle for loss leader was Arakpo with 16. 15 for Casey. 14 for Jones. 13 for Woods. 10 for Smith. And then the sack leader was, of course, Jarrell Casey, 12. Arakpo had 7. Smith had 3.5. Jones and Brown had 2. A couple guys had 1.5. Jason McCourty, 5 picks. 2 for Brown, 1 for a bunch of other guys. But that's a much improved year than season 1. And you would expect it to be because we did pretty well. So Steelers were the 1 seed. They have Derrick Henry, by the way. We finished the 4 seed, even though we're not a true 4 seed because we just won our division. But we take on Buffalo. Seahawks are the 1 seed. Packers are the 2 seed over the NFC side. I think this is going to be a first-round exit, but I guess miracles could happen. That's for sure. Let's go find out. Bills, Titans. I don't see this going any way than a loss, but I guess there's a possibility that it goes our way. It doesn't. 21-10. I didn't think we were going to get out of that first round. We didn't really deserve to make the playoffs anyway. We only did it literally because we won the division. Which is another reason why, even if you win the division, you probably shouldn't have a home playoff game. But whatever. Whatever. And you shouldn't be guaranteed a top 4 seed, even if you won the division. It is what it is. Packers, Bengals this time. So the Bills don't make it to back-to-back Super Bowls. But Cincinnati has. And I don't know if you can see that down there. You probably can't because my camera's covering it. I just got an achievement for Rookie of the Year. So either Zeke won it or Jalen Smith won it. I'm assuming Zeke did because he had a better year. But that's really good. That's really, really good. And it's probably Zeke because he got the XP boost, or he got the extra upgrade points. So Zeke is going to be the Rookie of the Year this year for offense. That's awesome. I don't know what his development trait is to start off with, but that's huge. And the Packers are back-to-back world champions. Yeah, the Packers go crazy in these rebuilds. I don't know what it is about this team. In 2012 and 2015, they just dominate. Rodgers is the MVP of both the league and the MVP of the Super Bowl, and he also wins Offensive Player of the Year. So Aaron Rodgers just had the greatest year of all time. Pete Carroll is the Coach of the Year. Anthony Barr wins Defensive Player of the Year for the Vikings. And then, of course, Zeke wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. And DeForest Buckner, the number 1 overall pick, he got Defensive Rookie of the Year. So I guess Browns didn't miss on that pick, and they got the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Good for them. Let's take a look at the revealed dev traits and possible upgrades. So Zeke is superstar, excuse me. What, did he have that already, or did he get it because of the upgrade? He had it already. It says Offensive Rookie of the Year, but it doesn't say development trait upgrade or superstar upgrade. So he has superstar right off the bat. That's awesome. Love to see it. Unfortunately, Braxton doesn't go up. A little annoying. Offense stays the same. Tyreek has superstar. That's not surprising. We are going to have Dorial Green-Beckham be the number 3 guy now. I feel like it should be him. It should have been him last season, to be honest. But and then we got on the defense, Jalen Smith has Superstar. Awesome. Kevin Byard has X Factor. Yes, please. I didn't remember that if I knew it. And then Kendall Fuller has 75 overall Superstar. So I drafted really, really well. Not to pat myself on the back, but I'll pat myself on the back nonetheless. That is a huge draft in year 1. Really, really good. Now we just got to add more this year. And since we made the playoffs, we're not going to have that good of a pick. But we have over $100 million in available cap to go into free agency and add a few extra pieces. I don't really know what we need to add. Maybe a strong safety and another corner I could consider. I signed everybody that we needed to sign in free agency, except for we need to accept the options on Daquan Jones and on Bishop Sankey. And on, that's about it looks like. But there wasn't anybody that was huge in terms of needing a new contract. Their contract came up. There wasn't anybody that big, so just re-signed everybody that we wanted to keep back, and we still have a good amount of money. So let's go make a splash, hopefully in free agency, add a few key pieces, and be a actual playoff contender this season. But we don't need anybody on the running back side of things or the quarterback side of things. Adding another receiver is interesting. I might do it. Josh Gordon wants to be here. Bobby Trees. We'd just be adding another guy that doesn't have development trait. Tyreek's the only guy that has development trait on, or Dorial Green-Beckham, I guess. So if we were to add Josh Gordon, we would have Tyreek, then Green-Beckham, I think. No, then Josh Gordon would be number 2, then Green-Beckham, then Braxton. That'd be 4 solid receivers. Anyone that we sign up here is going to be higher overall than Green-Beckham and Braxton, so I don't know if I want to do that. I think if we're going to sign anybody, we're going to sign somebody that's lower overall. So that is going to be Allen Hurns. We're going to sign Allen Hurns to a 3-year deal. I'm fine with that. Tight end, left tackle, left guard, Vidal Alexander. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but 23 years old. If he had star development, I'd be a lot more interested. He's interested in us. I'll go for him. He's only 23. I mean, he wants to be here too. We shouldn't have to pay him that much. And then centers, there's not anybody that's probably good enough. I mean, maybe Ryan Jensen, but I'd rather just keep Schwenke at that point. Right guards, right tackles, left ends, D tackles. Quentin Dial's interesting, but we have Al Woods and then Matt Ioannidis. Right ends, nah. Left outside linebackers. We're good at linebacker pretty much. We have all the linebackers we need. And then one extra corner probably. Sanders Cummings? What a name. I might get him just based on the name alone. Who else is here? Kareem Jackson, 29. DJ Hayden's 27. Jeremy Lane's also 27. But this guy, Sander Cummings, I don't know who he is. I don't think I've ever heard of the name. I feel like I would remember that name. That's a legendary name. We're going to go for him anyway. Because he kind of wants to be here, and he's got star development. So free safeties we don't need. Strong safety I could take a look at. Robert Blanton is interesting. Patrick Chung's 30. I wish Patrick Chung was a little bit younger. Jonathan Cyprin, being 27, is more along the lines of what I'm looking for. Plus, he's got the development trait. So we'll offer Jonathan Cyprin a deal, and hopefully he says yes to that. And those are going to be my deals for this second free agent class. We'll do the little evaluation, and we got everybody. Cyprin, Hurns, Cummings, and Alexander. So I don't know what I'm going to do with any of those guys, except for Cyprin, because he's going to start. But I feel like those are some much-needed additions to the roster. So we will do that. And we will have Allen Hurns be the number 4 receiver. Perfect. And then on defense, Cyprin will start over Searcy. And we're looking good. They move Jalen Smith over to left outside linebacker. That's fine. But we have Cummings be the number 4 corner. I like that. Kevin Byard will start over Michael Huff. And we are good to go. I like the team. Now we just got to go into the draft and actually add even more pieces. I don't know who we're going to add because I don't know what exactly our pick is going to be. It's probably going to be in the teens, the high teens, maybe the 20s. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out as we simulate further and further into the season, the off season. $76 million. We still have a good amount of money for in case somebody comes up for a contract that we're not expecting. I could just take a look at the salaries and plan ahead, but that's too much work. All right, let's see. Mock draft number 5. Mitch Trubisky going number 1 to the Broncos. Myles Garrett has a chance of falling all the way to 3. That is insane. That is actually insane. We have number 19 pick taking David Njoku. Remember, this is the draft that we don't have our 3rd round pick. Is there a way that I could trade up to number 3 to get the pick with the Colts? That's a very intriguing thing. It might be possible. It wasn't on my plan. I wasn't planning on trading up to get what's his face? Why am I blanking on his name? To get Myles Garrett. I don't know why I completely blanked on his name for a second, but knowing that he's not going to go number 1 is a little bit more enticing. I will say that. It is a little bit more enticing. I don't even have him on my board here because I didn't think we'd ever be in position to get him. But this makes it interesting. That is for sure. Makes it a little bit more interesting. I'm not really sure if I can do it or not. I might be able to. I might be able to. What I might do is I'm going to spend those final staff points to fully max out the player personnel trade up thing. That'll definitely help. So we do this, we do that. All right, perfect. So that's fully upgraded. And I'm also going to buy this real quick so that we have the discounts on re-signing players. All right, perfect. So now all that stuff is bought and upgraded. I'm going to simulate to the draft period, and then I'm going to try my method of trading one spot up until I get to number 3. And we might come away with Myles Garrett here. There's a possibility. I'll come back to you with whatever I've done. Okay, good news. I've gotten the number 3rd pick. I just did my method of going pick by pick, trading. Let's say since we had the number 19 pick, I traded to the number 17 pick, then I traded the 17 pick for the number 15 pick, so on until I got up to number 3rd pick, or number 3 pick. It's a pretty cheesy method to use, but when you're in desperate need of a draft pick and you have the player personnel trade draft pick branch all maxed out, it's very simple. You trade 1 for 1 every single time. So it's very, very, very easy, very, very cheesy method. If you want to use it, use it. I use it a lot because that's what I do. So yeah, we got the number 3rd. Why do I keep doing that? We got the number 3 overall pick. We're gonna take Myles Garrett with this pick. It wasn't the plan, but plans change, and Myles Garrett fell to us at 3. Well, fell to number 3. So we're not gonna pass up the option to miss out on Myles Garrett. I mean, it's Myles Garrett. So we're gonna grab him. Stud, absolute stud. Welcome to the team. That's gonna pretty much fast tracked us to playoff contention right away. And yes, I had to trade my 1st round pick, so that was our 1st round pick. We have pick number 19 now. Jamal Adams goes to Indianapolis, Christian McCaffrey to Chicago, Patrick Mahomes to Houston. That's not good. Mahomes is now in division, so hopefully we can get good before he gets good. Solomon Thomas, Jabril Peppers is in Washington. Cleveland takes Tre'Davious White. Marshawn Lattimore heads to St. Louis. O.J. Howard to Tampa, which is where he really went, right? I think that's where he went. Evan Ingram to Dallas. Gerard Davis, Ryan Ramchick, Corey Davis, Mike Williams, Charles Harris. Charles Harris going 1st round. Okay, Hassan Reddick to Philadelphia. Jonathan Allen to Atlanta. Cam Robinson, Kansas City. Adoree Jackson. Tack McKinley. Joe Mixon to Buffalo. Garrett Bowles to Seattle. Raekwon McMillan to New England. Taco Charlton, Minnesota. David Njoku to Cincinnati. That's who we were projected to get at number 19. He fell to 31. And then Malik McDowell goes final pick of the 1st round. Marlon Humphrey goes number 1 of the first or the second round. We'll skip to our pick here at number 19. I could have considered Marlon Humphrey, but I didn't think he'd be there anyway, so I didn't really consider it. Second round pick. We could grab Cooper Kupp here. That's the obvious choice to get our wide receiver core pretty much figured out. We don't need any more defensive linemen because we're pretty much good there now. We could use another corner, and Chidobe Awuzie is my best option at corner. It's going to be either Chidobe Awuzie, and I realize I didn't pause the draft thing. It's going to be either Chidobe Awuzie or Cooper Kupp. We have 4 receivers with Tyreek, Braxton, Dorial Green-Beckham, and then the guy that we just signed in the free agent class. So Cooper Kupp would be the 5th receiver, and I know that he starts as a low 70 overall. But if we went and got Chidobe Awuzie, I don't know how low of an overall he actually is. I've never drafted Chidobe Awuzie. I don't think I have, at least. But he would probably fall in the bottom half of the corners as well. I think I'm going to go Cooper Kupp, mainly because I'm getting rushed here and I forgot to pause it. We're going to go Cooper Kupp. That frees up some opportunities to possibly trade somebody else. I'm going to pause the draft real quick since I forgot to do that. And we don't have our 3rd round pick this year. But I do want to see if Awuzie maybe falls to the 3rd round. We could trade into it. Or maybe we just let him go. Not 100% sure what we do. There goes Deshaun Watson to Minnesota. I'm sure there's some good massage parlors in the Twin Cities. Larry Ogunjobi, Duke Riley. Is he still on the board? He wouldn't fall to the 4th round. There's no way. Yeah, he's still on the board. He's around 2 to 3. He's going to go in this round. It's just a matter of when does he go. It's not like we absolutely have to have him, but he's a nice corner to have. Alvin Kamara goes to Washington. Trey Hendrickson. If we had a 3rd round pick, I might have thought about Trey Hendrickson. He is still here. There's a lot of corners on the board. I guess teams just don't need corners. Maybe that helps us out. Kendall Beckwith, Vanderoos, D.D. Westbrook. There goes John Johnson, C.J. Beathard. The GOAT, Nathan Peterman, 3rd round pick. Samson Ebukam to the Patriots? I like that. And now we're into the 4th round. Things are getting a little crazy here. Eddie Jackson, David Sharp, Zach Banner, Samaje Perine. They have him as a fullback. Interesting. Johnny Smith to Washington. Washington's coming away with a decent draft, I think. Our pick is coming up here. Kenny Golladay. Alex Arma. Chidobe Awuzie is on the board. That makes me think that all these corners kind of suck, and that's why they're still on the board. But we drafted Quincy Wilson before, and he turned out to be a pretty solid player. So, it's all corners, basically, and then Chris Godwin. I mean, I talked about getting him, so I might as well grab him now. Chidobe Awuzie, only normal development. That's probably why he's still on the board. But it's good to know this for future rebuilds, so that we don't have to waste that much time or possibly trade up. It's good to know how good Chidobe Awuzie is. And then we'll go into the 5th round. I don't know who's going to be here. No more George Kittle, which is who I was thinking about taking. I think this is going to be... Grover Stewart here in the 5th round or whatever it is. And then I don't even really know where to go with the 6th round pick or the 7th round pick. 6th round picks. All those corners are still on the board. Godshaw's still here. Desmond King is still here. We know for a fact that Desmond King has a development trait, so I might as well grab him now. I know that's kind of overloading on corner, but might as well grab him. And then I guess if Jake Elliott or Harrison Butker are still there, we'll grab the kicker. Not like kickers matter that much in simulation, but they're both still here. We'll get Jake Elliott. We'll get Jake Elliott. He's got a hidden development trait, 91 kick power. All right. Another solid draft. Another solid draft. Not as good, I don't think, as the 2016 draft, but I do think that we added some more players at positions that needed some help. So I think that we came away with a good draft here. Getting Myles Garrett makes the draft 10 times better than it would have been. And he's an 82 overall. Cooper Kupp 76. Awuzie is a 79. As only normal development, but a 79 overall is pretty much good enough to be our second corner, I think, at this point. Grover Stewart's a 65 with normal. That's kind of a miss. Desmond King's a 71. And then Elliott is a 73. So a pretty good draft looking back on it. Ryan Ramczyk we knew is a high overall for some reason. And then we got Myles Garrett, who is a top 5? Yeah, top 5 since all these guys are tied for third or tied for second. But I mean, getting Myles Garrett is a game changer. That was not the plan going in. But since he wasn't considered the number 1 overall pick, I felt like I had to capitalize. And not even considered the number 2 overall pick, which is a little bit crazy. But I mean, it worked out for us. We got ourselves a future Hall of Famer at defensive line. And this team is looking really, really good now. This team is looking really, really good now. We've got some receivers that I trust. We've got a running back that I trust who's going to develop. We've got a quarterback in year number 3 who's going to take that next step, hopefully. The offensive line's looking really, really good. And then on defense, I mean, pairing Myles Garrett alongside Jarrell Casey is kind of crazy. Linebackers are looking really good. Corners are now even better alongside Chidobe Awuzie. If he has a good year, it could go up to star very quickly. And then we're going to start Kevin Byard at free safety since he's an X factor. And the linebackers look good. I mean, this team is a playoff team now. I know we made the playoffs last year, but we weren't really a playoff team. We just made it because we won the division. But I really do think that this team is a legitimate playoff contender here in year number 3. It all depends on how good Marcus Mariota does, and he's been getting better year over year. Year 1 to year 2, he got better. So now hopefully year 2 to year 3, he gets even better, throws for hopefully 4,000 yards, a lot of touchdowns, not a lot of picks, and we make the playoffs. Affirmatively make the playoffs. Like, very, very dominant playoff team, a contender for the Super Bowl. That's the goal. So I will see you guys at the end of year number 3. Season 3 is finished up, and the boys are back. 12-5 record here in year number 3. I told you we were going to be a confident team. We were going to be a true playoff team and a true Super Bowl contender, and that's exactly what we are at 12-5. Clearly won the division with relative ease, and let's see how we did. So, not 4,000 yards for Marcus Mariota, but still a unbelievably good stat line for him. 33 touchdowns, 9 picks, and 66% completion percentage. Very good season for Mariota. He continues to do good, and Zeke continues to just run the dang football. 1,400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Even Mariota's getting in the run game a little bit. Receiving, no 1,000-yard receiver, but Dorial Green-Beckham had almost 1,000 yards with 6 touchdowns. Tyreek did well, 7 touchdowns. Delaney Walker, 9. Cooper Kupp had 5. Okay. Then you got defensively, Zach Brown, no surprise, led the team, 126 tackles. Middle linebackers usually do. 101 for Jalen Smith is awesome. 85 for Awuzie as a rookie, okay. Kevin Byard, 83. I wonder if he'll go up to star. Probably not, but that'd be awesome. Kevin Byard, 83. We need to see some big upgrades for him for overall-wise because he's only a 72. So we need to see that go up a little bit. Myles Garrett led the team, I'm assuming in both tackles for loss and sacks. Had a really, really good year as a rookie. Maybe defensive player of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Who knows? But it was a really smart pickup to go and get Myles Garrett for sure. Zach Brown, 13. Casey, 13. Daquan Jones, 12 tackles for loss. Sack leader was, of course, Myles Garrett with 10.5. Casey had 8. 3.5 for Brown. Jones had 3. Pick leader was McCourty with 5. And then 2 for a couple guys. 1 for a couple guys. All right. I'd say that's a big old W. Because that's quite the season for some of those guys. And now we take on the Cincinnati Bengals in the wild card round. Can we beat them? And we do, 28-16. We move to the divisional round for the first time this playoff, or this rebuild. That's really, really big. That shows the progression. Can we go to the divisional round? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. It's going to be Raiders and Patriots, and then us and the Steelers. Packers, Giants, Panthers, Seahawks. It's going to be quite the matchups. Maybe we can sneak in. I don't know. Steelers, Titans, 10-7 versus 12-5. Get a W, maybe? Oh, 24-11. We lose to the Steelers. We were the favorite, and we lose. That's annoying. But that's how Madden works sometimes. That is how Madden works sometimes. And to be fair, we weren't really championship material this season, but next season for sure. Next season for sure, if we can have another really good offseason where we get some good free agents, we get some more good draft picks, we can have ourselves quite the season 4. That is for sure. And the Steelers are in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks, so we would have probably had to go up against the Seahawks and would have for sure lost. And the Steelers get it done, so we lose to the eventual champions, I guess. I'm not going to hang a banner for that, but Steelers won the championship. And it's Dorn Grant, former Buckeye, the most random MVP I've ever seen of the Super Bowl. Okay. Cam Newton wins MVP of the league, like he does in real life, just not the right timeline. And then Mike Zimmer wins Coach of the Year. Cam Newton also wins Offensive Player of the Year. Khalil Mack wins another Defensive Player of the Year. Juju for the Packers is the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Derek Barnett is your Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Ravens. So no Myles Garrett, but that's okay. He doesn't need it. He's already an X Factor. It's not like he needed it. But let's go to the offseason. Season 3 offseason. We don't have as much cap room because guys are getting expensive now. But there was one more guy that I was interested in that I didn't re-sign just yet. And I realized I was calling him the wrong name. Marquestin Huff. I must have been thinking of something else. I was calling him Mike Huff. I apologize. I didn't realize that wasn't his name. I must be thinking of somebody else that's named Mike Huff. I don't know who it is, but we're not going to bring back Al Woods. We're going to let Ionitis start right away. And honestly, Ionitis would start right away anyway. Suck Up, we're not going to re-sign because we have Jake Elliott now. Darius Jennings, no. And then Zach Mettenberger, he's way too much for a bad backup. But Marquestin Huff is the guy that I was talking about because, yeah, we have a little bit of money, $34 million. We could bring him back easily, but we have Kevin Byard, who we want to start anyway. So Marquestin Huff is going to be on the trade block. And by trade block, I mean we're going to try to get a first-round pick for him. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but we're going to try it. We are going to try it. So Huff is going to be the guy for us. If we just go in the offer screen, we can't get anything that good, which is not honestly that surprising. But we can get Yannick Ngakoue, but now with Myles Garrett, we don't need him. How are we going to make this work? How are we going to make this work for a first-round pick? It's probably going to have to be something pretty high, like 23 from the Bills. Okay, we can make this work, though. We can make this work. Because if we also throw in our 2020 first-round pick, because honestly, I don't think we're going to make it to 2020 in this rebuild. That gets us pretty close. I would also consider my third-round pick in 2020. That gets us close. I can do the second-round pick, I guess. That gets us very, very close. And then I'll go to 2019, and I'll throw in my third-rounder there. And that gets accepted. So now we have 2 first-round picks. We have the Bills' first-round pick, but it took a lot to get it. It did take a lot to get it, to be fair. But that's a big pickup. I like that. I like that a lot. We still have money to work with. We need to bring in another safety now to be a backup to Kevin Byard. Just to have depth. Fullback we don't need. Quarterback we don't need. Running back, nope. Who's that 25-year-old? Oh, it's Trey Mason. Receivers we're good on. Tight end, Richard Rodgers. I could use a backup, but it is what it is. Offensive line we're pretty much good on, and there's nobody here that I want. Left end we're good. D-tackle we're good. Right end we're good. Outside linebackers we're pretty much good on. Yeah, we only need a free safety, I think. Kevin Pierre-Louis, we know how good he can become, but we're not going to get him here because we don't need him. Corner, Quincy Wilson. Quincy Wilson has made it to free agency after being just drafted this past year, so they must not have liked him. They cut him. Same thing with Tease Tabor, or he might not even got drafted. I don't know. Maybe these guys didn't get drafted, and that's why they're here. That's probably a possibility. I don't think we need a corner anymore. I think we just need a backup free safety. Let's go look at some of these guys. We don't need anybody that's too good because Kevin Byard is only a 72 or something like that. So we'll get a guy like Reggie Nelson, a little bit of a veteran. He wants to be here, so that'll help it out a little bit. And that can be a nice backup to him, to Kevin Byard, and he signs with us perfect. So not the splash that you may have expected, but I still think that is a good signing. Adds a nice backup wrinkle to Kevin Byard. And now with 2 first-round picks, we can really do some damage here. We can really do some damage. So if we go adjust the lineup, we've got ourselves a solid offensive line. We've got great receivers now. Nobody goes up a development trait, which is a little bit weird. And then on defense, Jalen Smith does, though. Jalen Smith is now an X factor. Mount has passed Arakpo, which I'm not mad at. Zach Brown's gone up to... Okay, so the defense got a lot better than the offense did in terms of development upgrades. So that's really nice to see. We're going to have Daquan Jones be the backup D tackle over Grover Stewart because he's just too low of an overall. Defensive line looks really good. Jason McCourty's gone up to superstar, which is nice. Too bad Awuzie didn't, but he's now the #1 corner. I'm liking that. I'm actually going to move Kendall Fuller to number 3 behind McCourty and have Tremaine Johnson go to number 4. Cyprin's good. Byard's getting better now. Okay. The defense has arrived. That is for sure. The defense has arrived. We just need the offense to show up alongside them, and we will be good to go. We will be good to go. I like the team. Mariota's getting better. All we need to do is get some good draft pieces now. That is all we have left to do. So let's get to this draft, figure out what mock draft number 5 has for us, and figure out a game plan for using both of these first-round picks. Because honestly, this is going to be probably the last draft that we actually care about our first-round picks. Because hopefully we're going to be either winning a championship in ending the video or being good enough to be in the Super Bowl every single season. So private workouts, we'll do that before we take a look at the mock draft. Let's see. So in my Week 11 stuff, I used it on Dallas Goedert and Mark Andrews because we could use a backup tight end. As far as offensive linemen go, I mean, obviously I would love to get a guy like Quentin Nelson. I'll also use some on James Daniels. We will go for defense, and we're not going to have a top 5 pick, so Vita Vea is out of the question, but that'd be an awesome D tackle to add to the team. But a guy like Roquan Smith, or unfortunately Fred Warner is probably a little bit too low of an overall for right now, but a guy like Darius Leonard, I've never drafted him before. That could be pretty fun. And then Jair Alexander would be cool. I'd like to know a lot about him because we could be in play for him depending on where the mock draft has us. So let's go take a look at that mock draft before we go into the draft and see what we have. So mock draft number 5 has Bradley Chubb going number 1. Browns still end up with Baker. Okay. Jair going number 9 to the Eagles. If he would have fell a little bit further, I would have been more interested in that. Vita Vea is at 11. Quentin Nelson's at 12. Why do they have to make this interesting? Mark Andrews, they have us taking him at 23. And then at 27, they have us taking in Mike Gesicki. Well, we're not going to take 2 tight ends. That's just not going to happen. But I could use my method to get all the way up in play for one of these 2 guys. Probably Vita Vea would be what I do. And I could also get up to Eagles pick and get Jair Alexander. That could be pretty fun. I've never drafted either. Have I ever drafted Quentin Nelson? I don't think I have. I might have gotten him one time. But I've never drafted Vita Vea, and I've never drafted Jair Alexander. So I might do that. I might trade both of my picks up to get up to 9 and 11. Those are unfortunate 2 numbers. And use those 2 picks to get Alexander and Vita Vea, because those are the 2 positions that would have the most impact on a championship team right away. So that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to trade for pick number 9, and I'm going to trade for pick 11, and I'll catch you guys back when I got both those picks. Okay, got that all done. We have pick number 9 and pick number 11 now, so we can move on to get Vita Vea and Jair Alexander to add to this team. They're just going to be the most impactful right away for the players that we're going to be able to get. So let's start drafting and make some magic happen here. Number 1 pick, Saints take Baker Mayfield, so they stole him from Cleveland. He was projected to go number 2, and he goes number 1 to the Saints. Bradley Chubb falls to number 2 to the Browns. Josh Allen's in New York, but in New Jersey now. Denzel Ward, Mike McGlinchey, DJ Moore. This is where we take Jair Alexander, and then we go and grab... Oh, no, this is where we take Vita Vea. Yeah, this is where we take Vita Vea, I think. Right? Is this where we take Vita Vea? No, he was projected 11. Jair was projected 9. Oh, no. Oh, no, I don't know if we'll be able to get both of them. Because what if I make a mistake here? Jair's lower. Oh, no. I might make a mistake here. I got to take Vita Vea first. He's on top of the board. But that doesn't mean that Jair's not going to go now. I'm terrified now. Uh-oh. Okay, this might not work. Bears, don't screw me. God! Ah, the Bears, I hate your mother. Okay, Chicago takes Jair Alexander, but maybe they would have taken Vita Vea too. I don't know if I would have been able to get out of that with both the guys I wanted. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so now here's what we do. We pivot, and we grab Quentin Nelson. Because we don't need a free safety, even though Minka's really good. We don't need a D-tackle anymore. We don't really need a linebacker. We could use a tight end, but we're going to take Quentin Nelson because he's a Hall of Famer, and we can just make things work at offensive line. Oh, that sucks. Okay, it's not like we absolutely had to have a corner, but, I mean, we've never drafted Jair Alexander before. I wanted to get him. But all the same deal, we've never drafted Vita Vea before, so that's kind of cool. We didn't have our second round pick. Remember, we traded that in year 2, I think. So now we sit with a few different options here. Dalton Schultz is on the board, which I might go with. There's not a whole lot of value, is there? Not a whole lot of options here in the 3rd round. I might grab a guy like Sam Hubbard and then hope that in the 4th round Dalton Schultz is still on the table. Let's do that. Let's grab Sam Hubbard here. Nolan development, he's just a backup at that point. We got our guys in the 1st round, I guess, so it's not that big of a deal. User pick in the 4th round. I hope that Dalton Schultz is available. If he's not, I don't really know where we're going to go from there. He is, so we'll grab Dalton Schultz in the 4th round and then pretty much just let the CPU handle the rest. There's not really anybody else that I want. I wanted those 2 first-round picks, so... I knew the Bears were going to screw me. I just knew the Bears were going to screw me. All right, but anyway, we came away. I shouldn't be too upset because we came away with 2 unbelievable draft picks. We got Vita Vea and Quentin Nelson, so it's not like we got screwed tremendously and didn't come away with anybody good. We got a starter on the D-line, probably. We got a certain starter on the offensive line. We'll just have to figure out where we go from there. Hubbard's is 66, Schultz is 66. They took Trey Flowers, Jernard Avery, and then Toby Weathersby. All right, whatever. But these are the 2 guys that we cared about the most. The NFL class, Quentin Nelson was the highest rated, and then we would have got the 2 highest rated players in the class if it wasn't for frickin' Chicago. God, I hate the Bears. Oh, why'd they screw me like that? I knew the moment that I saw the board and Vita Vea was at the top, I knew the moment that happened that we weren't going to be able to get both of them. Man, that sucks. Oh. But we will add these guys. Quentin Nelson will be an instant starter. They move Chance Womack to left guard. That's perfectly fine. We could have Lyle Collins jump in and be the center, but... you know what? Screw it. We're going to have Lyle Collins be the center. Why can't he not be the center? Okay, there we go. We're going to have... What's the problem? It's Madden. What does it matter? What does it freaking matter? So the offensive line's fixed. Wide receivers are good. Tight ends are good. Quarterback's obviously good. And then on the defense... Vita is going to start at D-tackle over Ioannidis just because he's going to develop quicker than Ioannidis is. Corners are better. They're looking good. I mean, it would have been nice to have Jair because he's an 81. He would have been the starter at number 1 corner. But, I mean, we honestly didn't need him that much. And the linebackers are looking good. Corners and safeties are looking good. It's a championship-level team. We made it to the divisional round last season in Season 3. This is Season 4. I think we're a championship-level team. If not, we are... good enough to get to the AFC title game, maybe the Super Bowl. We'll find out. I'll see you guys at the end of Season 4. Year 4 has come to an end, and we were the number 1 seed in the entire AFC. You love to see it, man. You absolutely love to see the day that everybody performs. Now, it wasn't Marcus Mariota that did too much. I'm assuming it must have been our defense that just shut down everybody. But Marcus Mariota, I'm not saying he had a bad season. 3,500 yards, 31 touchdowns, 8 picks. That's just what Marcus Mariota does. That's a very, very good year. That's just his production. Zeke put out another really, really good year, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp got 1,000 yards, 1,100 with 9 touchdowns. Tyreek had 800 with 8 touchdowns. Delaney Walker had a decent year. Dorial Green-Beckham's production has gone down, which is a little bit upsetting because we wanted to have him be like the #1 guy, but it is what it is. Things happen. Plans change. No 100 tackle season. Very interesting. But it looks like we got a lot of production in terms of picks. I mean, just seeing these numbers right here, we must have been turning the ball over like crazy. But Jalen Smith had a good year. Zach Brown had a good year. Not as good as he's had before. 13 tackles for loss for Jarrell Casey, 8 for Jalen Smith and Myles Garrett. Sack leader was Garrett with 12, 11 for Casey, 8 for Zach Brown, 4.5 for Daquan Jones. And then Tremaine Johnson led the team with 5 picks. Byard had 4, 3 for Awuzie, 2 for Smith and McCourty, and then 1 for Avery Williamson and Cyprin. I mean, we were turning the ball over like crazy. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And now we take on the Miami Dolphins. They are the 4 seed. Raiders and Steelers are the next matchup. Washington, Seattle, Panthers, and Packers in the in the other side of the bracket, on the NFC side. Are we going to beat them? We should. And we do. 31-7. We blew them out in the divisional round. Now we take on the Steelers. So the Steelers beat the Raiders. And we take on Pittsburgh in the AFC title game. And it's going to be Washington versus Carolina on the other side of the bracket. So both Seattle and Green Bay, both teams that have played in Super Bowls, and the Green Bay have won Super Bowls in this rebuild, are not in it. They're not in the NFC title game. But the Steelers, another team that has won a Super Bowl in this rebuild, we have to take them on. It's going to be very tough, but we're the favorites for a reason. So we should be able to hopefully win this. We should be here, and we need to prove it. Here we go. Steelers-Titans. Just barely. 27-21. Must have been a final late game touchdown or something. I don't know, but we get it done. We move on to the Super Bowl for the first time in this rebuild. We take on Carolina. What a weird Super Bowl. Titans versus Panthers. All right. Panthers have played in one before, so have the Titans, actually. Both came out as losers in that game, but it is time. Before we check the Super Bowl out, are we going to see any development upgrades? Nothing from Mariota. Surprising. I thought he'd go up to superstar because we got to the Super Bowl, but whatever. Quentin Nelson, X Factor, no surprise there. Delaney Walker is a superstar. No X Factor for Zeke is a little interesting. Vita Vea still doesn't know what his development upgrade is. Nobody else goes up. Tremaine Johnson actually is a star now, so that's something I noticed, but we don't know what Vita Vea's is? That's a little weird. I mean, the defense is good. Defense is good enough to win a championship. We just got to get past the freaking Panthers. I think we should be able to do it. They're 12-5. We're 14-3. We're the favorites. Let's go get it done on the field. Here is the Super Bowl. Panthers-Titans. We start 7-0, but the Panthers came back quickly and scored another touchdown. 14-7 Carolina. Come on, offense. We get a field goal. Into the second half now. It's 14-10. We need something to go here. There it is. But oh man, every time we score, the Panthers come back quick. 21-24, we lead. We need the defense to step up. We didn't get the defense to step up. 2nd and 17. Huge play. 2nd and inches. We scored a touchdown with 20 seconds to go. It's 31-28. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. 1 play to go. 4th and 9. With the Super Bowl on the line. Look at all these superstars and X Factors on the field for both teams. Myles Garrett getting to Cam Newton. It's not going to be a championship for the Panthers. It'll be a championship for the Tennessee Titans. The rebuild is complete. Mariota has won a Super Bowl for the Tennessee Titans. You love to see it. Boom. Oh, we didn't get it done, actually. They called a timeout with 1 second left. All right, well, then I'm going to go and call a pass play because I want to use Marcus Mariota. We're going to roll. We're going to fire. Delaney Walker out of the end zone. But hey, it's the Super Bowl for the boys. We did it. And I have a hot take, actually. I like these uniforms better than the current Titans uniforms. I feel like these are much nicer. Maybe that's just like rose-tinted glasses or a little bit of bias because these are the Titans uniforms that I grew up with. But these are the better Titan uniforms. than the ones they wear now. With the solid blue helmet, I don't... These are the better units. The white helmet always is a better look. So, I like these ones. Maybe that's a hot take, maybe it's not. I don't know. But a big Super Bowl for the boys. It took us 4 seasons with growing Mariota, finding the right pieces around him, obviously building the offensive line the way that we did with getting Quentin Nelson, Lyle Collins. That's actually it, right? Because then we had Taylor Lewan, we had Chance Warmack, and we had Potasi. So we only got Quentin Nelson and Lyle Collins. We kept the tight end the same with Delaney Walker. We did add a lot of receivers. We changed the receivers quite a bit with Tyreek Hill, with Cooper Kupp. We added in... we made Dorial Green-Beckham a better player than he turned out to be in real life, so that's something. We did get a new running back with Zeke, so we changed the offense a little bit. We certainly did change the offense. The defense, you could argue, stayed the same to an extent. We do need to see who won Super Bowl MVP, though, before we wrap up the video. We've got ourselves... Super Bowl MVP is Marcus Mariota. How fitting. It's Marcus Mariota. Rodgers wins MVP of the league. We win Coach of the Year. Russell Wilson, Cam Jordan are the Players of the Year. And then Calvin Ridley and Bradley Chubb are the Defensive and Offensive Rookies of the Year. All right, let's take one final look at this squad and then wrap up the video. So Marcus Mariota, we never got him up past star development, but hey, he developed in terms of overall. He didn't really need the star development, or he didn't need the superstar development. His awareness went up like crazy. It was like, what, a 75, 77 when we got him, or when we started. All of his accuracies went up like crazy. His speed and agility are always pretty good. So, I mean, Marcus Mariota killed it. Marcus Mariota absolutely killed it. We obviously drafted Zeke. We drafted Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Braxton Miller. We're all nice players, obviously. They're all studs. And then we got Dorial Green-Beckham to go up to an 80. Actually, he's a 79, but he's still solid. Offensive line, we kept the same, except for adding Quentin Nelson and Lyle Collins. We moved Warmack over to left guard when we got Quentin Nelson. We obviously kept Delaney Walker. So, I mean, the offense, for the most part, stayed the same. Few additions. Defensively, we added Vita Vea. We obviously added Myles Garrett. Corners, we added Awuzie, we added Cummings, we added Kendall Fuller and Tremaine Johnson, so the corners pretty much changed everywhere. We kept Jarrell Casey. The linebackers pretty much stayed the same, except for we popped in Jalen Smith instead of Arakpo, who just kind of got older. Safeties, we do keep Cersei, but Cyprin starts over him. And then we added Kevin Byard, who in real life got drafted by the Titans, so I guess that's keeping the team, but he wasn't on the team when we started the rebuild. But this might be one of my more favorite teams in terms of the players that we drafted, because I love the Jalen Smith pickup. I love the Kevin Byard pickup. I love, obviously, the Myles Garrett pickup. Vita Vea I've never drafted. Some of these guys I've never drafted before in any of these rebuilds, like Vita Vea, like Kevin Byard, like Jalen Smith. So I just wanted to see how they develop, and they turn out to be really, really good. Chidobe Awuzie, same deal. I never drafted him before, and he ends up being really, really good. So I don't think I've even ever drafted Kendall Fuller before. So I really like this for just going out of the way and drafting some people that I've never drafted before. Like Zeke, I've never drafted him before. I may have only gotten Quentin Nelson one other time. I don't remember. Obviously, I've drafted Cooper Kupp and Tyreek Hill a bunch of times before. And I've never gotten Braxton Miller before. But keep in mind, that Braxton Miller video might be coming. You know what? Since this is the end of the video, I do want to see what Braxton, his overall is at quarterback. It's probably not going to be very good. I would have to adjust his quarterback stats. But let's just put him at quarterback right now, see what happens. So right now at quarterback, he's a 49 overall. So we would obviously adjust that to be in the mid to low 70s, give him his accuracies and all that kind of stuff, if we were going to do a rebuild built around him. And I still probably will, because I like that idea. That's kind of cool. So that's going to do it for this rebuild. I hope you guys enjoyed. Titans fans, you got yourself a Super Bowl. I know that just recently you fired your head coach, Mike Vrabel, in real life, so the Titans organization might be in a little bit of a tailspin. I don't know. But at least in the virtual world, you got yourself a Super Bowl. The Lombardi Trophy headed to Tennessee. If you enjoyed the video, leave it a like and subscribe to the channel. Join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it. As always, if you have any other suggestions for 2015 rebuilds, 2012 rebuilds, current day rebuilds, college rebuilds, 94 rebuilds, whatever the video you want to see, the team you want to see rebuilt, leave them down below in the comments of this video and every other video I do, and I will take them into consideration and probably do them in the future. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.